I wanted to do one more music episode before we take a break from music, and this time I didn't want to talk about bands or artists or groups or anything like that. I wanted to talk about 360-degree stages because I'm enamored by the idea of a 360-degree stage where the audience completely surrounds the artist. First of all, now that I'm thinking about it, that sounds like an absolute security nightmare, right? But the first time I was introduced to this was when I was a kid, from a video game, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes. But it's Final Fantasy X2, where the opening scene is the main characters busting into this arena, and there's somebody impersonating the main character Yuna, and she is singing on this 360 degree stage that's on top of a golden Buddha statue, and like people playing the instruments are like kind of flying around the arena and playing their instruments, while it's just the dancers in the main like center stage that's in 360 degrees. And I love these ideas, but they seem incredibly difficult, and that's why I also think they're not hugely popular. So something close to it is like boiler room sets. These are the boiler room. You can check out all their YouTube videos, but it's DJs that are completely surrounded by people in the club. It's a 300, like they're just plopped down right in the middle of the club, and there are people all around them. And occasionally there's some issue where somebody's like pushing up against the DJ and making it hard to play, or like, there's is obviously issues that happen there, but those aren't exactly what I'm talking about. So I would highly encourage you to like check out a picture of a 360-degree stage, because it's I think something that's only really possible maybe today with a lot of like innovations and stuff where the artist can like come up from underneath, which is not super new, but then there's other measures taken, and I think it's kind of just something more recent. I think it's a very innovative approach to like live entertainment to be able to do this. And what I love about these, like, architecturally speaking, I'm sure they're very difficult to pull off because you also have to hide everything that goes into it, all of the chords, all of like the backstage people, any hydraulic lifts, all of that stuff has to be hidden away underneath that stage. But then you still need to make sure that there's enough room for so the stage isn't 20 feet high on top above people, because then you've got people craning their necks, and then you have to push people further back from the stage, and it's just kind of a bit of a nightmare. I'm sure it just takes an immense amount of planning and engineering to ensure like safety and make sure like the attendees, like I said, have that sight line. I did find a very short list of notable examples that have kind of utilized this 360-degree arena stage concept. The first a couple different places are the Roundhouse in London, UK, which was originally a railway engine shed. And a side note, I'm kind of doing this episode a little different. I want to see how it works, where I'm kind of doing live research at the same time. Like I have some notes to talk about, but I'm also doing live research. So anyways, the Roundhouse in London, it's been transformed into a versatile performance space with a distinctive circular layout. And then we have Cirque du Soleil in various locations. It's a Cirque du Soleil, if you don't know it, it's a world-renowned circus company, and with a bunch of like really over-the-top production. And their shows are custom-built tents and permanent theaters around the world. And then we've got the Star Performing Arts Center in Singapore, which features a unique, what kind of stage, but can be adapted to accommodate a wide range of events, from concerts and theatrical productions to corporate functions and conferences. It just sounds like it's a catch-all, but they specialize maybe in doing that full round stage. Then you've got Madison Square Garden in New York City, USA, which is a legendary venue known for hosting some of the biggest names of music and entertainment. If you watch any kind of like coming up in the world of music movie, they always talk about, man, I just want to play in Madison Square Garden. Like that's like the mecca for up and coming artists in movies, is just getting to play in Madison Square Garden. And so they have a versatile stage setup that can be configured for 360-degree viewing. Its central location and iconic status have made it a must-visit destination for performers and audiences alike. And then I also have this list here of 4 notable artists who have done this. There's Taylor Swift, performed on a 360-degree stage. And what she said is, there's quotes even by them. Perfect. The quote from Taylor Swift: performing on a 360-degree stage is exhilarating because you're completely surrounded by your fans. It creates an intimate connection that you can't replicate on a traditional stage. Completely agree with that. I think there's something very, very special about that. Then the Beyonce did it. Her quote was, "The energy of the audience is palpable when you're performing in the round." I kind of like just saying that, performing in the round. Anyways, she said, "It's like being in the middle of a whirlwind of excitement, and it pushes you to give your absolute best." Then we have U2, which when I was doing research for this, pretty much everything that could come up. By the way, there was very little information that I could find in looking up how to do for stuff for this episode. Anyways, U2, which what I was getting at is that most of it was Reddit posts of people talking about U2 stage. And their quote from them is, "We've always been drawn to innovative stage designs that break down barriers between the band and the audience. The 360-degree stage allows us to connect with our fans in a whole new way." Then you have Lady Gaga. 360-degree stages give me the freedom to express myself creatively and interact with my fans from every angle. It's a transformative experience for both me and the audience. Again, I completely agree with all these quotes. I really hope that as we progress, further and further, and we can figure out how to set up, especially the band. The band seems to be the hardest part. The singers, they can easily walk around the stage in a circle and it's not a problem. They can have wireless mics, but something like the drummer, how is the drummer supposed to move other than having them on a stage that the stage itself moves around in a circle, which sounds like a safety nightmare. I couldn't imagine saying, okay, the stage is moving, all of you have to keep your balance at all times, and God forbid you had any dancers. But I really like that all of these, these are the biggest artists, and they are biggest artists maybe today, and U2 might be a little dated for that, and Lady Gaga's been a little quiet, but Beyonce and Taylor Swift, every one of these are household names. Anyways, I think endorsements from artists like this is the kind of thing that gets 360-degree stages to be bigger and drive more interest in them, and therefore, get more people to do it. The problem is I see with this also is, unless you have a stage setup that lets you change it into other things for other artists or other events, it's really hard, because how is a single music venue going to go with a 360 stage when it's rare that anyone is going to be able to actually or that most bands, or even a eighth of your bands, are going to be able to actually perform on that. And so I definitely see how it's a nightmare, and it has to be something really special, and kind of over production wise, I'm sure it's it's got to be a big name artist for a stadium to put forward and say, okay, we're going to do it for just this one. Right. Anyways, I think these are something that I would really like to see more of, and I would like to see talked about more, and God forbid, I would love to read even an article on the engineering of a 360-degree stage. But really the only real article I could find that talks about the stage and not necessarily U2's performance on a 360-degree stage was by this blog for Desmas Cultural Architecture, and I'll link it in the link dump. It kind of goes over everything I said, but you can read it for yourself. They actually have a lot of really, really cool articles I recommend checking out. But anyways, I just wanted to give 360-degree stages its own special little quick episode, and share my love for it specifically. Normally I would put these in a coffee episode, because it is such a short topic, but I just wanted to round out this little trilogy of music episodes with talking about 360-degree stages. So if you've ever been to a 360-degree stage, I would love to hear about your experience, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And do you think that more bands and artists should be adopting this? And just hit me up. The best place to do that is going to be on the Patreon, which is totally free. There is no paid areas there. Hit me up there. Let me know what you think about this. I would love to hear, especially if maybe you had like a local band or something do a 360-degree stage. Maybe you had maybe it performed at like a farmer's market or something like that, or it was actually on a stage, not just a busker playing and there's people surrounding them or something. Or even if you've been to a boiler room set and you got to be in that kind of area, I'd also want to hear about that experience and what you thought about it. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for the 360-degree stages. I think I've said that combination of words about 50 times this episode, so I apologize. I wish there was a better way of saying that, like, and that made sense, because you can't say circular stage, doesn't make sense. I don't know. If you have a better way of saying it, I'd love to hear it. Maybe we can start coming up with some kind of a fun word for it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening.